MPC members Kelly Buell, Katie Bucknell, and Dave and Elizabeth Nethamer served kids this summer at the English camp put on by a congregation of the Evangelical Church of the Czech Brethren.
This mission trip is a different sort of mission trip. We're not there to build a building or rebuild something. We're there to build relationships between people, between our churches, between our towns, in some ways between our countries. People don't associate mission trips with something like this. It's like, aren't there plenty of youth camps here? Why do you have to go all the way to the Czech Republic to volunteer to youth camp? There's plenty closer to home that could use you. And the answer is yes, you're right. There are. But this isn't just about working at a camp. This is about building bridges between, like I said before, people, churches, towns, countries. And it's supporting the sister church in a post-communist society and changing people's attitudes while you're doing it.
Because of the years of strict control under communism, it was hard to get people to come into a church. But this English camp is a friendly way of introducing families to what the church is by serving them with an opportunity for their children. Over the years, many young people have been encouraged and empowered by it, so much so that as they grow up, many have taken time off of work in other cities to come back for the camp and bring their own kids.
And of course, when we travel there, we stay in the homes of volunteers from the church, and in some cases who aren't even a part of the church. And so we get a very intimate look at what their life is like on a daily basis. So we're reaching out into the town as well and sharing our experiences with each other. And that's a huge kind of relationship building exercise.
This was the 20th year of the camp, which former Memorial pastor Tom Shocker helped to start. So it was meaningful that he was able to return this year and take part.
The theme this year was on the 5 senses, so taste, touch, smell, hearing, and sight. And so each day we talked about that in relationship to not only some of the stations that kids were moving through, but also they tied that in with some Bible stories every morning. But one thing that I found profound was Tom would give a morning devotional on each of those, and it was very meaningful. We have these energizers that we do every morning. They're kind of patterned after Montreat energizers, if people are aware of what those are. But this was something to sort of take a second to just quiet down and focus on what we have for that day, and I found that very important.
This year, for the very first time, we did an escape room, and the kids loved it. We did something like that for 2 of the 5 days. One day, we actually made ice cream, and it was good. We ate it. So that sort of thing, day after day, taught me to trust that God was going to provide what I needed, because some days I didn't know how we were going to get through these classes. So I learned a lot about trust in God's provision, but just the experience of doing the escape room with these kids. They'd never done escape rooms, and making ice cream. Those were 2 of my favorites.
It's also significant that our relationship building through this camp has gone on to connect us to people in need in Ukraine in a more real way, because we help and learn from the Czech people who are going to bring aid there firsthand. There's definitely unique things we can learn from this type of mission trip with our brothers and sisters in the Czech Republic. One thing is connecting with a different culture should make us reflect on what we take for granted in our own situation.
They talked about how, they do not take this for granted, that they have the freedom to do a lot of things, but especially worship. The Communist Party did not approve of things that people worshiped other than the Communist Party, and they hope that we always remember that this is a freedom and a blessing to be able to worship the way we would like to worship.
Yeah, we never know who we touch or how we touch them, and we never will in many cases. But after seeing some of these young adults bring their children back, it's obvious that we have been touching them.
A gift of this trip has been it shows us, in a genuine sort of way, the best thing we can do is offer ourselves in relationship, which is the biggest thing we can work to build. Plans are being made for next year's Czech English Camp, so please contact Dave Nethamer or the church office if you're interested in serving at future camps.